Okay, so I kind of have my hands full. None of this, except for, well, one thing is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about some more herbs, but I'm going to take this out to the greenhouse because I got some goodies today from Aldi and Harbor Freight, and I'm pretty excited. I'm going to go ahead and show you them just because. I'm Chrissy from Up the Windy Lane, and I love to share my gardening adventures, farm animal adventures, and I have a chicken in here. I was like, something is in here making noise, and I'm really not sure what they're eating. I'm pretty sure, oh my gosh, I think she's making a nest in here. Oh my gosh. I don't know if she's broody or what. I've been finding eggs everywhere. But anyways, that is not what I was, okay. So I was out running some errands today. This has nothing to do with this video. I just wanted to show you this. It was really cool in case you have a Dollar Tree buy. So I found these plant clips. This is so cool. There are 20 pieces in here. There's some small ones and some large ones. $1.25, and I don't have any of these, and I was like, well, you know, I will try these out and see how they do. I got some for my sister, and then they did have these. Now, Menards has these 52 a pack, but they're not exactly like this. They are more like, actually, they're these, and they're like $4 or something like that. These give me more space to write. There's 10 in here for $1.25, which is a little bit more, but it does have more space. But I didn't want to go all the way out to Menards, so I got 4 packages of these. Now, this other thing I found, it looks a little rough, the package, but this was the only one that was in there. I have wanted one of these rain chains for a while, ever since I saw them, and so I got this one. This was the last one in our local one. We do have 2 more around here, but so this is Aldi's, the Isle of Shame is what they call it. And I went down it today and I bought this, and I bought some pots, some hanging pots, and some socks. And I didn't need the socks, so I was like, instead of going somewhere else, I'm just going to get them here. All right, the other thing I got at Harbor Freight. I had no idea. I need to go in there more often. I had no idea they had this stuff. And I need one of these because the one I have on the greenhouse that is supposed to run the pump and my whole setup that I have in that black tote with the red lid back there is supposed to go into the rain barrel, and it's supposed to pump rainwater instead of hooking it up to the hose. So I got a new one of these to see if that's what it is. If it's not, well, then I have an extra solar panel. But they have solar panels. They have some that are bigger and like setups and stuff. So it's really cool. But okay, so that's all that like extra stuff. Let's get to the video today. What we're going to be doing is foraging a couple more herbs, yarrow and plantain. So I didn't do plantain the other day because I have 4 trays in my freeze dryer. So we did comfrey, we did dandelions, purple dead nettle, and help me out with the other one. What else did we do? Wild violets. So that's what we did the other day. So today I'm going to go ahead and get some yarrow because it's coming up in the yard. We still haven't mowed yet. So if you wait and don't mow in the early spring, you might find some goodies in your yard. And you can tell that I am all stopped up. I ate something that I shouldn't have apparently, and definitely stopped me up, which is really annoying because I was clear a couple days ago and I could smell and stuff. It was actually better this morning, and I don't know what I've eaten, but something did not settle well. Okay, so yarrow and plantain. So I'm going to go over it with some of these monographs, and we're going to get my basket, and we're going to go out in the yard and just pick some weeds, basically. I have a basket and scissors and my book, and let's go. We're walking through the garden. I'm pretty sure I could just, oh my gosh, this stuff. This will get so big, and it's coming up everywhere. I mean, you can see, look, it's coming up there. It's coming up there. It's just everywhere. I thought about digging some up and giving it to my sister, but I should probably ask her if she wants it first, because once you have it, I'm pretty sure you don't get rid of it. Or horseradish. Like, I'm pretty sure it is coming up. It doesn't even look like it was in the bed now. It is just coming up everywhere. I'm going to have like, this is going to be horseradish. I don't know. Like it's, yeah. I don't even know. It's coming up everywhere. Like way bigger than the bed. Now that I'm looking at it. It's coming up everywhere. Oh my gosh. Okay. Something else you won't get rid of unless you harvest it and pay attention. I didn't, and I let that horseradish get way too deep in the ground, and I will probably always have it. Always. It will never go away. Out here you can see my little elderberry cuttings have done really well. So those turned out really good. And as we go, they just get smaller and smaller. They actually all lived, believe it or not. I didn't think they did, but I mean, some of them are tiny. The only bad thing is I'm probably going to have to move them. I didn't really put them in a very good spot because the tractor, you know, if stuff has to go through there. I'm checking on my blueberry bushes that I just planted. They're still alive, so that's good. The gooseberries are still alive. I don't know about the figs. Like, they came back last year, but they completely die off. I don't know if that's normal or what. They're supposed to be hardy for our zone, which is 6B. And then I saw the other day they were calling my zone 7A. So I don't know if that's like with, I don't know, that changed or something or what. But we are out here on Meandering Path. We're out here by the Yarrow, and I'm going to show you this one because it is the biggest, because it's around one of the pecan trees that I planted, and so it grows the biggest. I have other spots of it coming up in the yard, but this one I'm going to go ahead and pick some of this. I do have some in the garden, but it's not coming up like this, so I'm going to go ahead and do this, and I'll show you what it looks like. Actually, wild yarrow. This is yarrow that just comes up in my yard, and it would possibly come up in yours as well. You can see it, this little feathery leaves. I think it's so cool looking, and I just kind of let it come up around this pecan tree that we have right here. The other one over on the other side, I think, died. I'm gonna have to get another one because I want them to match in front of the barn. But I'm just gonna cut some of this off, and we're gonna dry it. This is really good for wounds and stopping blood, blood clotting. That's the word I'm looking for. So this is going to be really good. And then we'll talk a little bit about other things it can be used for as well. All right, I got me a nice little pile of yarrow leaves, and they have a beautiful flower that comes up as well. And you can just pull these off. I was pulling some and then cutting some. So I'm probably just going to do that amount for right now because I can always get more later. So if we want to talk a little bit about yarrow, then we're going to talk about how it's anti-inflammatory, it's antimicrobial, it is antispasmodic, astringent, it is choleric, diuretic, septic, and vulnerary. Now, it is cooling and drying, but it is well known for its vulnerary properties. It is commonly used by soldiers in combat from the time of the ancient Greeks through the early 20th century. It's really cool. I actually did a video just on yarrow and I believe I made, now that I can't think of it, I can't think if I made a yarrow salve or not. I did make a plantain salve, and so this is just a really good thing to put in your first aid kit. So if you don't have, if you are making an herbal first aid kit, or you want to use stuff that's natural in your yard, or if you're out somewhere and you need something, look for yarrow because it is really good. It stops bleeding and it disinfects a wound. It is you can apply it as a poultice of fresh yarrow leaves, or in a pinch, dried yarrow leaf powder. You can also squirt yarrow as an extract into the wound, ideally after cleansing. You do want to always cleanse the wound first. So it can be prepared as a wash. It can be prepared as a compost, an infused oil, a salve, or a cream. So yarrow is really good to use and really good to have. It is contraindicated in pregnancy due to its high volatile oil content. So you probably want to pay attention to that. And if you are allergic to the daisy family, it is of that, you could have an allergy to it. So you always want to pay attention. But you can infuse this, and you can divide it into doses as an infusion. You can use it as a tincture as well. So very versatile, topically or internally. So always find more. You can find more information. Don't take everything I'm telling you as fact. Always do your own research, and you can find all kinds of recipes and different things to do with it. I love Pinterest and just Google and searching, but Pinterest is really fun. So you can always find all kinds of things. Even on here on YouTube, you can find all kinds of things that people are doing, making salves. You can mix up the herbs and make different salves. So it's really exciting to be able to pull stuff out of your yard as weeds and use them medicinally. All right, let's go find some plantain. Hopefully, I know I have some here somewhere. It's not quite as abundant right now as the grass, but I do have some. So let's go find that and we'll cut some of that. Apparently I didn't have to go too far. It's like right in front of the barn, but there are these little patches. So you can see all these little patches of plantain. So this plantain is more of a broadleaf. Get back, kitty cat. This is more of a broadleaf plantain. And then there will also be one that is called lanceolato, and it will be like this. It will have, or has the veins running, but it will be very slim and look like lances is what it will look like, and that's where it gets its name. Yes, Simba, we know you love attention. He is just, he lets you do whatever. Pick him up, move him around. He just very cuddly. So this is actually, okay, Simba, I'm trying to do a video here. So this has stalks that come up and they have little flowers on top, and that's actually where the psyllium husk, if you use that as a fiber supplement, that's where the psyllium husk comes from. I did not know that until I did a little research, so I thought that was really cool. So if you ever seen those little pods on top of it, they're not up yet, of course. That would be a lot of those pods to make the bags of psyllium husk, that powder that I get. So it's something that I definitely don't want to have to deal with. I mean, I could in a pinch, but I'll just buy the psyllium husk powder. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pull some of these, and we're going to put them in our basket, and that's going to be our plantain leaf. Simba must be in need of attention or something. All right, so I'm just kind of going around pulling some of these leaves from some of the different plants. Okay, so this is the broadleaf. And see how it's got the purple in here? Yeah. All right, so we're going to pick some of these. One of the great things about plantain as well is if you have poison ivy, which is already out, you can actually take this and rub it on it. You could use it as a poultice to put on top of it, and it is supposed to help ease that rash, that itchiness of poison ivy. So, I mean, that's cool. So you've got poison ivy that's already out, and then you also have, let's find another one here. And you also have the plant that will help you with poison ivy as well. I think God's creation is so cool that he provided all this stuff for us to use. And I think we've lost that a little bit. And now I think a lot of people are kind of getting back to it, using the plants and everything that God provided for us to use for ailments and to help us flush out toxins and so forth. So he is just all about the attention, aren't you? Okay, so like this one is more like the lanceolato, if I'm saying that right. Plantain, skinnier leaves. Yes, Simba, we know, you're right there. Skinnier and just thinner leaves, and it will shoot up the stalks just like the other ones do too. Okay, so now that I'm walking, I see them. They're kind of buried underneath, because if you'll notice, they're really close to the ground. So once we mow, they will probably show up better, because all this other stuff will be gone. But these will get bigger and the leaves will be bigger. So right now they're kind of on the smaller side, but that's okay. We can still use them. And I think I even had some in my garden last year. But you can see they're all just kind of under here, and they're, like I said, they're short enough, they're low enough to the ground that they will most likely not be mowed, and all this other stuff will be mowed down whenever we start mowing. If we start mowing. I'm sure we will, but for right now, it's actually kind of chilly today. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. It's going to be like 60 something and sunny. I have a long list of stuff to do for tomorrow, and I am so excited to get out here. And here's a nice one. Here's a nice little plant. So excited to get out here tomorrow and get some things done. I've got a list going, and I've got some passion flower seeds that I'm soaking. I'm going to get those planted tomorrow. Hopefully they actually take this year. They did not. I don't think I planted them right last year. Apparently they have to have a certain kind of temperature or they will not germinate, or they can take a really long time to germinate. So I don't think I let it go long enough last time, and I think what happened was they didn't come up, you know, in like 7 to 10 days, and I probably just planted something else, not realizing that they actually take a while, or can take a while. So hopefully I will mark them and pay attention this time, and then I can make sure that they, you know, do come up or not. So it is a plant that I will probably have to take inside, but they are so cool looking, and I'm so excited to maybe try to grow them. All right, I'm just checking on some of these beds in here. Like a few of the kohlrabi are actually getting bigger. They're a little bit bigger now. I can actually see them. So is the cabbage. So I think I just planted it too early. We have gotten some really cold temperatures. If it would have been warmer, I think they would have done okay. But it's just really cool, or I should have, you know, covered them up or something. But I'll show you this yarrow that's actually right here by the greenhouse. It's not as big, so I didn't take from it, but it will get bigger as, of course, the season goes on. It gets warmer. So, but it's just kind of hanging out here. So I always have some, and it doesn't get mowed down. Here's the yarrow. You can see the little feathery, it's kind of intermingled with some of the wild violets. Like, I barely planted any here a couple years ago, and you can see now they're going everywhere. Like, remember what I told you about in the last video? Carpet of wild violets. And then, of course, we have comfrey coming up here. And I probably made a mistake because I moved some of this over here because I was thinking it wouldn't be over where it was. And I'm telling you, these roots looked horrible. I didn't think they were going to come back up, but that right there is a horseradish leaf. And so is this right here. Like, there's a little bit of green coming out right there on that one. So I probably shouldn't have put this here, but I'm going to have horseradish over here too. You're really supposed to do, you're supposed to harvest it, like dig it all up after the, you know, like at the end of this year or whatever, and save some of the pieces to then plant. But if you let it go like I did for years, it just gets deeper in the ground and you cannot get all of it. So now it's coming back out. Let me show you what I'm talking about. The asparagus bed. If you've been watching my videos, you know I took all my beds out, like redid them all, and I have this big space in here. It's really messy. I haven't quite figured out. I think I'm gonna put the grape arbor in here. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking some stuff, but this is the asparagus bed. I did not move it, and as of yet, so I haven't decided what I'm gonna do. I think I'm just gonna leave it and let it do its thing. But then this was the next bed, and I had planted horseradish in it. So if you see all this right here, you can tell where the bed was. But this is horseradish out here. And then if we go over here, this is horseradish. That is horseradish. That is horseradish coming up. It's coming up over here. It's coming up here. So I'm not really sure, like, if I dropped some or I don't know. Well, you know what? Remember whenever I redid all this all wasn't here, and I just kind of like scooped dirt, moved dirt, whatever. So my guess would be I probably broke some off and moved it, and now I have it everywhere. I didn't really think about that until just now. That is probably what happened. I have horseradish now everywhere, just like I have lettuce back here. I got these little purple things of lettuce everywhere. That's what happened. Actually need to cut some of that lettuce. Probably cut it tomorrow when it's warm and take it in, because I usually add it to my smoothies and stuff, or I add greens to my smoothies, and why not add those, because those are super organic. All right, so we have yarrow and plantain, and actually, you know what? I forgot. Let's head right back over here because I was going to tell you about plantain. Shoot, I forgot about that. Okay, let's find plantain in the book. Okay, so one of the reasons why I really like the Herbal Academy is they have these monographs that they put. I actually had this printed out, but you can, so all the herbs that they go over in each, like this is the introductory class, they're all in here. So I can go through here and I have that information. It's really handy. So I'm going to read it because I do not have all these memorized. I know some of the actions and the uses for some of these herbs, but I'm still learning, and what I really want to learn is the ones that I can have access to, like in my backyard. So plantain is, we use the leaf. We use the leaf. Like I said, psyllium husk comes from the stalk, but I do not plan on collecting that and using that. So plantain literally followed the heels of colonization. I've talked about this before. I do have a video on plantain salve, how it actually earned common names such as Englishman's foot or white man's footsteps because it traveled. It came up everywhere that they went. So it really takes a beating. Like I showed you earlier, it's low to the ground. We step on it all the time. When you're walking out in the yard, if you have, plantain, you're more than likely walking on it. It's just hanging out right there. So there are the Plantago major, which is the broadleaf, I believe, and the lanceolata, which is the slender one. And I do have more information about that in that other video, but Plantago major may be more of a stronger diuretic, but it is antibacterial, it is anti-inflammatory, antiviral, astringent, demulcent, vulnerary. If you notice, like these herbs and those herbs that we did the other day, a lot of them are anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, vulnerary. Like a lot of these have some really nice actions where you could pair them together and they would make a really good salve, a really good tea, a really good tincture. Except for comfrey. You can't use comfrey. You're not supposed to use comfrey internally. That is for topical only. This is a cooling. The energetics of this plant, this herb is cooling, but it is also a must-have in your first aid kit. So literally, you could go out in your yard and start on your first aid kit because, like I said, this is good for poison ivy, but it's also good for bites, for stings, for scrapes, for cuts, as well as drawing out slivers, splinters, and stingers. Now, I got stung one time by a wasp in the greenhouse, and I put plantain, I got it, and I rubbed it on that, and it helped. Like, it didn't completely take it away, but it made a big difference. So, I am a firm believer in plantain. Now, plantain can also be used to soothe and cool pain, itching, and burning symptoms of poison ivy. So, if you ever get into poison ivy, or if you have, I know some people, it doesn't bother them at all, but some people can just like see it and they get poison ivy. So it actually helps with poison ivy. It helps with nettle stings if you find some nettle, which I have yet to find. But when you find that, it does have little hairs and it can actually sting your skin and sunburn. Now, if you are out in the field and for some reason you get a sting or you want to make a poultice and you just really need it, you can actually make a spit poultice, believe it or not. You can pick some of this, chew it up a little bit, and apply it to where you need it. So it's just really cool plant, but you can also use it as a wash, a compress, an infused oil, a salve, a cream, all kinds of stuff. So it is just really great to have in your first aid kit. It's also like I said, it's anti-inflammatory, astringent properties. It makes it great for your skin, like chronic skin conditions is what I'm trying to say, while toning the skin, and say in cases of eczema, rosacea, shingles, varicose veins, hemorrhoids. So it's really just good all around. It has antibacterial properties, which can also help with wounds and for acne. So it's usually regarded as safe. There's no contraindications that they know of right now, and you can actually use this as a dried infusion. You can make an infusion with it, you can make a tincture, and like I said, you can make salves and washes and infused oils and all kinds of stuff, really. I love to try to keep infused oils on hand so that if I want to mix up a salve, then I already have that oil that's infused with that herb. So that is something that I've been working on because it does have to sit for a while. Same thing with the tinctures. If you tincture an herb, it normally has to sit for a while and absorb, get those properties out of the herb. So letting those sit, and then you can actually mix tinctures depending on what you're going for, and make a combination one and you know, like a little mad scientist. I don't know. All right. So that is plantain and yarrow in your yard. I should have done chickweed because I know I had chickweed the other day whenever I did the strawberries, but I don't really know enough about chickweed, so I don't know if it's in my book here. I know you can eat it. Pretty sure you can eat it. Oh my gosh, I can't. It's like a little chilly out here, and I don't really like it. I'm gonna be so glad when tomorrow gets here. So I'm just, guess what it is? It's in here. All right. You know what? We're just gonna add chickweed to this video, because it's one of the first greens that comes in the spring as well. Let's see. All right. So they used to encourage Americans during World War II to actually use chickweed in their victory gardens. I had no idea. It has an easy to grow green that self-sows itself annually. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Which we know that because chickweed comes up, and it comes back up, and it reseeds itself. It is actually one of the last growing greens in the fall. I didn't know that either. And it can be found green and blooming under the snow. That would be cool, I'm just saying. So when weather is hot, chickweed usually lays dormant and comes back when the weather cools again. So that's probably why it's out right now. Because while it's not super cool, but it's not like winter, but it is cool, but it's not like super warm as either. This one is also antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial. It's anti-pruric. I can't pronounce some of these. Astringent, demulcent, diuretic, emollient, expectorant, lymphatic. Like there's a few more. It's also vulnerary. It's cooling and moistening. Now, chickweed has a theme to its supportive properties, lubrication. It is a very juicy herb. I did not know this. See, I don't think I've ever foraged chickweed, so we're going to have to go back out there. We're going to have to find some. And it lubricates dry and irritated parts of the body, both in the joints and topically on the skin. So it helps moisten, cool, and soothe irritation and inflammation throughout the body. So due to its lubricating qualities, people who eat chickweed regularly often report a reduction in inflammation. So that would be arthritis and rheumatoid pain. I mean, how cool. I'm telling you, this is really cool. We've got all this out in our yard. All right, so it's a popular herb for dry, itchy skin, while its cooling nature soothes heat and inflammation on the skin. It is generally regarded as safe, and you can use it as an infusion, a tincture, and of course, you can use it as other ways as well. It can be taken internally as food or tea. So it's effective in bringing a pimple to a head or extracting a splinter. I'm telling you, we just got all kinds of cool things out here. All right, let's go find some chickweed because I know there was some by my strawberries and there's got to be plenty more out there. So I found some in this other bed because I pulled all of it out of the other one. That this is chickweed. And of course it's in this bed with the blackberry bushes that are left over that I need to cut out. But I am going to attempt to get some of this out because I do want to dry it and have it in the house. On my search, I found these gorgeous little things. Look at these cute little wild pansies. I have no idea if these have any medicinal properties, but they are like the cutest thing ever. Look at those. They look like, of course, like little pansies, but look, they're so adorable. Tiny. All right, I did find a decent amount. I'm going to freeze dry all of this, and I'm kind of walking around and just kind of looking at all the weeds in my caterpillar tunnel that doesn't have the plastic on yet, but just kind of, you know, scoping out all the stuff as I walk, and there's different things that I could pick. This is actually the area where I might be able to put a high tunnel. We'll wait and see. See what happens. Lots of green. I really need to probably get the animals out here and let them eat this down because I'm sure they would really enjoy it. Look at all that plantain and clover in there. They would really enjoy that. All right, I think that's it. I'm going in because I'm actually kind of chilly. It's actually like, I don't even know. It's in the 40s and I have on sandals. So my toes are kind of cold. So I'm going to take this in. I'm going to get my freeze dryer ready and I'm just going to freeze dry this instead of hanging it. That way it keeps more of its medicinal properties. And then I'm not sure if I will powderize it. I probably will the yarrow maybe. I did the comfrey and everything, but I may keep some of this just, you know, a little bit crushed in the jar. But I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you've found any of this in your yard and if you're able to harvest any of it before you mow, or maybe you're going to keep a patch that is just not mowed, and let's see what comes up. I hope you enjoyed this. Be sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to be lovely lights today.